Mr. Branchman.
He's like there's a guy, Mr. Branchman, and there was also a cop. I think his name was Kitty Katzman. It's so fucking funny.
It's so stupid. That's one of my favorite shows.
It is very funny. It's on Netflix now.
Family Guy?
Key and Peele.
Key and Peele. I'm a fucking idiot. I thought you said Family Guy.
I didn't.
You know why I thought you said Family Guy?
Why?
Terry was talking about Family Guy all day today. He said a show,
yeah,
and my brain doesn't work.
Yeah, you have that rare condition where you don't realize that it's separate conversations. So every conversation during the day is just one conversation.
I get it from my dad. It's just one thing. Like, what are we talking about? It's like, oh, I was talking to a completely different person.
I had a friend when I lived in Boston. I've had a lot of drug addict friends in my life, just being a musician, and I had one friend who was like really, really fucked up on pills, and it was like the beginning of his addiction.
Jeez.
And I remember him calling the house and leaving a message that was like, Jeff, hey, my roommate Jeff, bro, man, I was pretty messed up last night. That was crazy what we did, man. I can't believe it. And Jeff goes, I did not talk to him last night. Like, I didn't even see him. I didn't even talk to him. Figment of his imagination.
He just made it up.
He was so fucked up that he thought, like, he was having like a thought like, oh, me and Jeff were hanging out.
Man,
that's crazy.
You know, I just noticed your shoes. Those are new.
Yes.
And they look strikingly similar to was it New Balance that makes them? No, the Vans, whatever. I don't know the name of the shoe. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I actually do know what you're talking
the
about.
The squishy sole?
Yes, because I have a pair of those. The multi, blue, and there's yellows and stuff.
Yeah, there's all different colors, but they're very, very similar to these. I like them.
I'm super into these. Also, check this out.
Mine have the same sole on them.
What do you know about this?
Ooh, those are cool.
Big Bird.
Big Bird socks?
Yeah.
Nice. They're Bomba socks?
Correct.
Yeah. Bombas are good.
Yeah.
Jon, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a while.
I know. It's been a minute.
It's been a while. You've been a busy boy.
Been so busy.
You've been up to a lot of stuff.
Lots of stuff.
You got married.
I did.
And you went from having 0 kids to 2 kids to 3 kids.
Yep.
In a matter of month.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
What's that all like?
It's bananas, man. So I have, I guess, I sort of was stepdaddy before, like, role before we got married, but like, getting married definitely like seals the deal for sure. Mm-hmm. But that was like a kind of a big reason. Like, I didn't think I'd get married again, since I had been married before. But it's also like, when there's kids and shit, it's almost like it almost makes it an easier decision in a way. You know what I mean? Yeah, in a way, because it's like, dude,
I think most people would think the opposite.
Well, I just felt like, I was obviously just like, I'm just super into my wife, and so I was like, like it made perfect sense, like, for both of us. She's been obviously been married before and stuff, and neither of us thought like we'd ever get married again. But it just like right away sort of made sense. We were both both super into it, so that's cool. But when there's two. She has 2 daughters, and it's almost like them being around too. I almost felt like, like I would have to like pick them up from school, or like, take the older one I had to take to get her booster shot for COVID, because she was going on a trip, and it was almost like, I don't know, just to be like, oh, this is my mom's boyfriend, as opposed to, oh, this is my stepdad.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not. There's no real difference, but I don't know.
There's a difference. It's a lot different saying like, oh, this is my girlfriend, than it is from like having a conversation with some third party and saying, oh, this is my wife. There's a completely different.
There's almost
connotation,
more legitimacy to it in a way,
for sure.
And So yeah, so it almost like, for me, like we could have. I think if my wife didn't have kids, we may have dragged our feet a little bit longer on getting married and stuff. But it was like immediately, like I said, it just made perfect sense. So, but immediately, and I think because there's kids in it, it was almost just like, we're doing this. Yeah. So why don't we just fucking do it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, I imagine it provides a bit more stability for maybe not stability for the kids, but like they have like this strong connection to hold on to, like stepdad. This is my stepdad. Yeah. He's here. He's not going anywhere. It's like, it's not just like some dude that comes and goes. Or whatever,
totally. Even though I am some dude that comes and goes.
Right.
I've been on tour like so much. But it's funny. So both my stepdaughters are teenagers at this point, and so it's cool because they have two different dads. So
is that crazy to jump into like all their things? It's like having having a baby and stuff. You're able to kind of like learn, and you're all learning, and you ease into it, and you're like, it's crazy. You're tired, but like I imagine just jumping right into teenage problems and drama.
So there's both. It's both.
Because to hear it and actually like witness it on the road and stuff.
Hello. What's up? Get the fuck out of here.
The fuck out of here,
motherfuckers.
Hey, we're walking.
I'm talking here. So it's both in one way, because they have different dads, and their dads are both like involved in their lives, and their dads are both good guys, like you know what I mean.
You've mentioned that
there's no issues as far as like me stepping in and being like, all right, I'm here. Which I could imagine if I had like a daughter and then all of a sudden some guy was hanging out with them, you know what I mean. I'm sure there's some like, great, here we go,
like if their dad was Jim Carrey from Liar Liar, it'd be a nightmare. just coming in.
Such a deep cut.
Come on, man. You don't know Liar Liar?
I do.
Yeah, but like he was the worst dad. But he was forced to tell the truth.
Yeah.
But the stepdad was such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And that nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
How much of a dickhead Jim Carrey's character was.
So true. But at the end of the hour and 45 minutes, he really learned his lesson.
But
a tiger doesn't change his stripes. That much I know.
Exactly.
So anyway, in a way I did, because they're teenagers, I didn't have to jump in and be like, I'm a dad now.
Right.
You know what I mean? My whole goal is to just be like, I am someone that these girls can count on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't get in the way of any of the parenting. Like I definitely, like, they're so sick of me, like, because I think I'm so fucking smart. You know what I mean? Like
I was gonna ask, like, is your advice always solicited, or is it sometimes unsolicited?
No. So and you see how much they like FaceTime me with I'm having this problem. It's it's
Jon.
constant. Yeah, it's great. I love that part. But I do because again, like I've had a ton of life experience. Like I just have. I've done something super unique with my life. I think I'm a smart person, and I've gone out into the world and I've tried everything. You know what I mean? And I think that I spend a ton of time like in my head thinking about like what I want to do and how I affect things and stuff like so anyway, I always feel like I have like a lot of good advice, and they're so sick of my shit. Dude, it's like
imagine.
Yeah, and I don't want to get like too specific. Like part of me, because I don't like have any secrets. Part of me, like I want to tell like really specific things that I've like had to give these girls advice on and shit like that, or gave them advice even when they didn't want it. But it's like I don't want to I don't want them to feel like I'm like telling tales out of school and shit. But it's bananas. It's so crazy, and I'm constantly like, Gandhi said. Like, seriously? So my
I would tell you to
dude, it's so ridiculous. Dude, so my 16-year-old is just like going through something right now, and she's like really sad, and she's incredibly smart. So she gets straight A's in school. She leaves school halfway through the day and goes to the hospital where my wife works, and like does like rotations with nurses and stuff like
Really?
that. Right? Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. She's like wicked smart.
That's cool.
And so she FaceTimed me, and kind of like, they know I say yes to stuff, so a lot of the stuff that I get is like, I really wanted to, light this car on fire, and Mom said I couldn't, and I'm like, just go light the car on fire. Who gives a shit?
You'll learn.
Yeah. So she
insurance.
She FaceTimed me, and she was like, oh, I don't want to go to the hospital, and I'm really sad, and I probably shouldn't go. And I was like, Sophie, I do that too, like a little touch. I go, there's so many things in life that we don't want to do.
It's like you talking
and you
about me going to the gym.
And you have to do them.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to find a way to be able to do things you don't want to do and enjoy them. And she's like, what the fuck ever? I just wanted you to tell me I didn't have to go.
Like, I don't want to go.
But I literally said to her just yesterday, I said, Gandhi said, if you're depressed, throw yourself into the service of others. So get to the hospital.
So get your fucking ass to the hospital.
Couch, you lazy.
It's like you're doing something.
But
today.
it's awesome.
Can you do me a favor? Can you text Doug and say that we need batteries?
Yes,
because we may.
Are we about to run out of batteries?
We have one. We have one bar.
Okay.
We have one bar. We might not run out, but it's better than it's just better to be prepared. That's what I always say. Usually.
Double A's.
4 double A's. I used to fantasize about giving my son advice, and giving, like, this is before Ethan or anything, or giving people advice, being like, I could give good advice to people, like people should listen to me. And then
I mean, I guarantee you're gonna. I mean,
no, I will,
because it's. I'll tell you the hardest part for me. This is all very exciting, I'm sure, for people to listen to. The hardest part for me to get like thrown into the out of the frying pan into the fire is like, I see personality traits in these young women that when I look out into the world and I see adults that are doing well, and I see adults that are doing poorly, right? And there are certain personality traits in the adults that are doing poorly. And a lot of it is like victimhood or splitting, meaning like, things are either black or they're white, and that's it, or not taking accountability for something you've done, like things like that. I see adults that have that in spades, that just do so poorly in life. And so when I see those traits in the girls, I feel like, oh my God, like, this poor girl is going to go out into the world and have a shitty life because whatever it is.
Right.
And so I just try to go like, and I try to like give some dumb anecdote or whatever, and they just roll their eyes and they're like, God, listen, old man, I'll come to you when I need you to buy me dinner.
Yeah, listen, give me $20. I just know. Thanks.
Yes. For this.
This is gonna die. Doug Ross, everyone.
Dougie.
Doug's butt.
All right. Good content here. When you said 4 AAs, I was in guest list.
Oh, you have 4.
I thought you meant all access passes, not AA batteries. And I was like, what do these assholes want? 45 minutes before showtime, we're having a party here.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. I should have some AAs in my drawer.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Doug.
I just remember the moment that Doug Ross, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, gave us AA all access backstage passes because we are at Higher Ground in Burlington, Vermont.
I went to college here.
Yeah.
And I see a big Grace Potter and the Nocturnals at Higher Ground. And one of my good friends in college, we played in a band together, was one of the founding members of Grace Potter and the Nocturnals.
She has a poster in this room, and then there's also one out there. There's like 4.
She is Vermont's darling.
It's got to be.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, she for sure is. So when...
she's still playing?
Oh, yeah. She was on her way to being Dolly Parton, and I think she took... The band sort of broke up, and then they had I think she had a kid and stuff like that. But she is definitely, I've noticed, like getting back into it with like a different band and stuff like that.
Yeah. She's badass.
So I went to see them like right when they were getting like really popular. I went to see them a couple times, but they had a tour bus sponsored by Cabot, which is the Vermont cheese company. So they had this big Cabot like tour bus with all this cheese on the inside. And I texted Terry and I was like,
did it have a Cabot wrap on it? Did they make the tour bus look like a stick of Cabot cheese?
I want to say yes, but I may have re-remembered that.
It would be a lost opportunity. It would be a perfect looking Cabot cheese bar.
No, actually, yes, it did, because I remember.
Thanks, Doug.
It said, thank you, Doug. The bus said, like, we hope you enjoy Cabot cheese by day and Grace Potter Nocturnals by night, or something like that on the side. So yes, it was wrapped, but it was also filled with fucking cheese.
It's fucking awesome.
And
the last thing you want to have before you perform is a bunch of fucking cheese.
I know, dude.
Especially if you're singing.
If you're on the road, oh my god, just like cheesing it up all the time and not pooping and stuff.
Yeah, I know. Let's pause. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
Let's pause for a second, and we'll be back. And we're back.
Which is crazy because for people listening,
Nothing happened.
Difference at all. Dude, I got to talk about what happened like right when we got here. So I have a lot of shit to talk. So I hope this doesn't get like too crazy or too negative or whatever.
Hey, if we're going to have a shit talking episode,
and this
you're going to be the one on it.
Yeah. And also this ties in with sort of like the gig concept of your podcast, which is normally not what I bring to the table.
Well, let me try to set the scene, like just the overall vibe of what the story's going to get into, because when you're in a band and you travel around playing music, whether it's someone from the audience or in another band or a promoter or whoever, or someone in a friend of a friend who comes that used to play music or whatever, there's always a conversation that happens where you're like, sure, like they're telling you about how they did it, and like they're asking you questions, but they're just not on the level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's equivalent to distant family members at family gatherings asking what you do for a living. They just don't get it. So that's kind of a thing that happens. And go.
There's also in that sense, there's also a weird thing in music between bands that's a real competitive thing.
Yeah, well, it depends.
It depends, but
right.
It exists. Like that's the
100% exists.
One of the things that I actually don't like about the rock boat is there's like a secret competitiveness to it. And it's just like at this point I'm an old man. Like I know who I am. Like I know what I've done and I know what I haven't done. So like I don't feel competitive with anybody. I get FOMO a bunch. Like I'm always like, I wish I was doing that.
Right.
Like I'm always doing that. But I'm not competitive with people. Like I know where I'm at, you know, and I'm proud of what I've accomplished, which is, you know, we have accomplished a lot. We do something on a scale that not a lot of people get to. So anyway,
do fun stuff for a living.
Yes, at a level, at a fairly high level, you know, not the highest level, but a high level. So anyway, I'm sitting in the green room, and so Higher Ground is split there's the big room, which we're playing, obviously.
The ballroom.
The big room on one side, and then the smaller room, which is still a nice room, on the other side.
Yeah.
And then so two bands can be playing at once, and then the middle is like green rooms and all this stuff. So the bands are all kind of together.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's cool because the way it's set up, it's a raised level that you can go into these little common places where you can watch the other show.
Yeah, you can totally see the other room if it's like a little like a balcony.
Yeah.
Like a little thing. So anyway, I'm in the green room. I'm the only one sitting in the green room just on my phone. And one of the guys from the other side of the room comes in, and he's just like, all right, now this is a room. And I was like, and he's looking at this piano. There's a piano in the green room at Higher Ground that's covered in small squares of mirror.
And let's say this room that we're speaking of is not a common room. This is someone that was not in Carbon Leaf walking into Carbon Leaf's private green room.
Yeah, which is
faux pas.
It is a little faux pas.
You don't do it.
No.
Anyway.
You generally stick to your own space.
Yeah.
And so he comes in, he's like, now this is a room, and he's looking at the piano, which is covered in little squares of mirror like glued on. And he's like, now this is a room. And I was like, yep, complete with shiny piano. And he's like, that's new.
Yeah.
And I've played this fucking room however many times.
Every year
since for a long time.
For a while.
Right? And I play that piano like every time,
it's always been there.
It's always been there. And I was like, oh yeah, no, the piano's always there. And he goes, no, I've played this place 4 times and it wasn't there. And at this point I'm like,
all right.
Oh God. And I'm not going to get into it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to argue the point. And I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, maybe they put it away or whatever. But I'm telling you, I've played her 4 times, and this is the first time I'm seeing it. And I'm like,
It's like, what do I even say?
I know. I'm like, cool.
You're backing me into a conversation corner right now.
And he goes, yeah, we played the big room. And we were.
Sorry, Steve Perry's
supporting.
warming up outside.
He goes, we were supporting Tragically Hip, and my eyebrows raised. I was like, oh yeah, cool. He goes, cover band. And then he goes, well, they say you guys are good. And I was like, oh, well, thanks, man. I hope so. I hope we're good tonight, And he goes, good doesn't always mean good ticket sales, though.
Come on.
I was like,
holy shit.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Who would say that? In what world would someone say that?
I don't know. It was the thing that I don't like. It was the competitiveness. And he was nice enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's always that like little thing to try to assert the dominance or just try to take you down a peg or two.
Yeah.
Like right now, these guys are not in their rooms. They're out in the middle of the common area and they're wailing. They're wailing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And so he was doing that like competitive thing, like, let me put you down. And he was like, I started when I was 16 in New York
Big 1-6
City.
Am I right?
And I was like, cool.
Sweet. Surprised you can remember back that far. Yeah, man. I don't know. I get it. It's like what we're doing now. Like, I know that at some point we'll look back on it and be like, wow, that was really, really cool. Mm-hmm. What we were doing. Mm-hmm. And who knows whether it's like because we're not doing it anymore, or it's like, we're playing smaller places, or even if it's just like a different, people have different, their lives evolve in different ways.
Yeah.
So like, I truly think I'll look back at this time doing what we're doing, be like, that was like
amazing.
That was the best. It was the best.
I look back at my time when I like first started like trying to play like with Ty and all that time, and we were just playing. We had no money, and we were just all living on top of each other and just playing every gig we could possibly do. I look back at that time and I'm like, that was so rad. I mean, we were like, just, I don't know, like we were just out there trying to like learn as much as we could, just like obsessing about one single thing, and it was just like, man, it was so fun. It was so amazing.
I feel that way. I feel that way about a lot of this, like playing with Dan and you know, doing stuff like that, playing with my old band Love in Stockholm, who, you know, we were like on this kind of circuit on the lower level. Like we would be playing in the other room, or we'd be playing at Nectar's down the street.
Right.
And
gravy fries,
baby. And like having the best time. Yeah. The best time. We get to drive up to Burlington and play in front of people that we don't know. Yeah. It's like, this is the coolest thing. And you know, one year we did it for Mardi Gras, and we went and had masks and got dressed up. It was a big deal. It was so fun. Well, it's so much fun.
Because all you get out of it is fun. Because you're not making money. And it's new. It's like the first handful of repetition, so it's like brand new. So it's so exciting.
And there's an energy from people, and it's just so exciting.
That youthful energy is exciting. But I'll tell you what I will not do is walk into someone else's fucking green room and go, yeah, well, I used to be in Carbon Leaf, you know, or whatever.
Who knows, man? You never know.
Hey, I'm gonna start bad 20 years people all of a sudden.
20 years down the road. Come to Higher Ground in Burlington. You're playing in a cover band in the small room,
and that's I can
come over and be like, "Man, was this piano always here?
This piano wasn't here. This piano's new. This piano's new. I'm telling you."
Yeah, he must have been fucking with us. Oh, here they go. They're playing next.
Sweet.
The show started. You're as cold as ice.
Oh my God!
This is gonna ruin the podcast,
huh?
I think we just let it ride because we're close. They'll hear us. That'll be tough to hear.
Let's let it ride. Little background music. Did I tell you about my idea for an OnlyFans?
No. When I was first starting the Patreon for After the Gig, I didn't understand like what OnlyFans was really about. Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll do an OnlyFans, and it would have been terrible. Like I would have to do video. It would have been amazing. Maybe it would have been amazing. You guys tell me. After the Gig pod gmail.com. You let me know.
I was thinking I would start an OnlyFans, and I would do stuff for like women like my age, and I would like do videos of me like taking out the trash or being like no, I'll get the dishes.
I got that for you.
And like washing dishes and shit like that. So like women in these like terrible marriages can go and be like, I'm gonna check in with John. I think he's folding laundry tonight and putting it directly back in the drawers.
Oh my God. You could do a live stream, just like you set the camera up. It's like Truman Show, how it's like his before bedtime routine or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just you with the washing the machines behind you. You're taking the clothes out. You're bending over.
Yep.
Taking the clothes out.
Yep.
And then in front of the camera is your folding table, and you do that. You just fold. You don't say a word.
Yeah.
You don't say a word.
I take it directly upstairs.
Right.
I put it in the correct drawers.
Right.
You know,
the drawers are closed.
Do some vacuuming.
Yeah, the drawers are closed. No material is like stopping the drawer from closing. It's pretty good, man.
Thank you.
I might have to sign up.
I know.
I like a tiny house.
Yeah.
Man, that's a really great idea. You should do it.
I know I should.
You should do it.
I won't.
You know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
You were really excited about the laundry here, the new laundry.
This place would be the best if they had a shower.
It would complete it.
It would complete the whole deal.
Trifecta. Clean, great venue, a shower, and
laundry.
Great laundry.
Yeah. Laundry.
And they have food.
Huge.
They have catering.
This fall tour,
cheese tour.
Very little laundry for some reason.
I did laundry twice.
I need to do laundry all the time. And man, where were we? wasn't Spokane. Was it Spokane? The place where we played with the train tracks were right behind
Yeah.
it. That was Spokane?
Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you,
Murder
that town
capital?
was a little rough to begin with. It is bad now, and especially where we were.
Yeah.
I walked to the laundry mat, and I was like, I was like, I was FaceTiming with my stepdaughter, and I was like, I have to go under this bridge. I was like, look what's going on. And both sides were just like huge camps of just like, and not
It's ridiculous.
like kind of scary drug-addled, people.
Yeah.
It was, man.
Terry Carter and me, when we walked to the restaurant we were going to, like once you got to the restaurants, it was fine.
Yeah.
But the walk there was kind of scary.
It was brutal.
It was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like aggressive,
Very
homeless,
aggressive.
drug addict
Yeah.
kind of people. And then the train tracks, the shit that goes on over there where we were parked. Oh my God.
A lot of shenanigans.
People, just random people walking by in a place where no one
Yeah.
should be walking.
Yeah.
It's like really fucking weird.
I will say the whole West Coast was a little rough.
Yeah.
Like real rough.
Yeah. It's kind of upsetting because like I don't go to the West Coast for like vacationing or hanging out really very much, and I kind of look forward to doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But this year I could not wait to get out of like California.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait to get out of
Even my beloved Seattle and Portland.
Portland, dude.
Brutal.
Portland, you couldn't walk anywhere without it smelling like piss. You couldn't. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
It's brutal.
But it's like, what are you gonna do? You're in a big city, like the weather, places like L.A. and San Diego and even San Francisco to an extent, or where we were in Berkeley, was whatever, college town. But like, you get to the outskirts of like away from, civilization, and it's just fucking chaos.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. You know?
And
I
there's
didn't like it.
There's like so I was out in Seattle right before, like in the spring. I was out in Seattle, and we were at my good friend's house, and she was like, yeah, we've had homeless people like in our yard. They have a fenced in yard, and she's like, we have woken up and there have been homeless people like sleeping in our yard,
dude.
And we were, I'm sitting
it's insane.
there. I'm sitting there going like, that guy would wake up with a shotgun in his face or something.
Yeah.
But so she's like really sweet. She was like, I try to understand that they're human too, and they're going through some problems. And I'm like, you have children.
Yeah.
You have children who play outside.
Yeah.
Like, don't think that way.
If anything in the last 3 years, if it taught you anything, is that it's fucking chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You have to do whatever you got to do. Like, that person, you do everything you can to help to an extent, but when they're on your property, encroaching on your life like that, it's a problem.
And you also don't know, like, and I'm like crazy liberal when it comes to like helping people and
so
and
am I,
stuff
but
like
that's
that.
trespassing.
But also, but
It's a
yeah,
crime.
but I'm also like a realist when it comes to people, people who are desperate in any way.
Of course.
Never know what people are capable of. And
Of course.
there are people that do really bad shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, you can't like, I don't know. So I think there's a little bit of that, like, well, everyone's human and stuff like that. That like, where's the, and I don't know the answer. Like, I really don't know the answer to how do you fix this huge problem of like homeless people going like, there's so many that they're sleeping in your backyard. You know what I mean?
It's impossible. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you do about that.
Yeah. Well, let's move on.
How'd you feel about the fall tour?
Man, I get, you know, I don't know how much to like really be real about this, because I guess I'll be super real. I had a really hard time.
I could sense it.
The first 3 weeks, I was not happy at all.
Yeah.
And I was unhappy because I'm like, this is where I'm happiest. On the road is what I enjoy. Like, even like a brutal tour like what we did, which nobody fucking does. Nobody does 31 shows in 31 days.
Yeah, I wonder why.
yeah. I mean, because it's almost impossible. But
crazy.
we do it, and I like that we do it because I wear it as like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? I go like, but I had a really hard time, and like, there's so many moving parts with this stuff. But it's just like,
I just don't like being away from home for that long. You know, especially with a little kid.
Yeah, see, that I understand. I don't even mind. I mean, it's not my favorite thing, but like, I don't mind that as much. It's what gets me down is when I'm like, all right, like, let's get positive attitude, and someone comes by and just says something shitty to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there was like a handful of that, like, I don't know what it was, man. There was something about our internal vibes that like, it took me 3 weeks to be like, okay, I'm settling into this. I can start to have fun and like and enjoy it a little bit. 3 fucking weeks.
I had to see what I did. I was going through so much stress last fall tour with like moving and with Ethan being so young and you know, Jen was starting a new job and all this. Like, there was so much going on. I was so stressed, and I you know, I was upset a lot of the time. And this year, I made an effort to kind of try to dissociate my feelings for like being at home from being on the road, and I just tried to stay really level and even keel throughout the entire thing. Like, I wouldn't stay up late and hang most of the time. Maybe a couple of times I did, but like, I just wanted to get as much sleep as I could. I just wanted to get to the next place, set up, because I have a really hard time with how long it takes me to set up my world, because of all the patching and all the stuff. Like, I can get the drums set up pretty quickly, but like, all the other stuff and dealing with this fucking bear that's on stage, and like, just, you know, it's like, there were so many things that were trying to just invade into my, like, and I was just kept trying to push everything away.
Right.
I was just pushing everything away. I'm like, sure, yeah, just, that's fine. I didn't want to like be my normal self and just like get into it and be agitated and let things bother me and really try to just, I don't know, be whatever, be a problem. Yeah. You know? So I don't know. It felt that way the entire tour, and I didn't get like, I was never like sad to be away from home. I kind of got to that place, but then at the end of it, I was just like, I was happy it was over. Yeah. And I was happy I was home. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I just had a very like comatose tour.
Yeah. See, I like to ride the waves. I like to be like kind of like chaotic and crazy on tour, because like, I enjoy it, and I like to be silly, and I like to say like crazy shit. Yeah. And I feel like that energy sort of like, I don't know. I feel like it's part of the band that like keeps it running. Is like, when we're doing something shitty, like Loadout, which I'm in charge of, I'm like, you know, being... Yeah.
Load-ins and loadouts were like crushed throughout the entire tour. Right. Like, quick. Yeah. In a way. Like, there's always nights where, you know, it's like, where is everybody? And then there's nights where I'll just be physically spent, and then after I pack up and take out the guitars and a few things, I'll go get my stuff, put it on the bus, and be like, and go slow.
And that's okay, because everyone chips in. I'm there for every load in and load out, for 100% of the time, and then people can sort of, as long as there's like 2 or 3 other people, people can sort of go like, I'm really tired tonight. I say,
badge and gun.
Yeah, I'll always be like, Carter, turn in your badge and gun. Get on the bus and relax.
Go see Sheila.
Go see Sheila. Leave your badge and gun with Sheila. That's what I say, so people can like take the night off.
Yeah.
So I like being like, being on that like show high and like feeling good and being silly and like listening to fucking whatever music, and I feel like it helps a lot of that stuff. I couldn't get there for the first handful of weeks. I was so annoyed. I would pull myself up and I'd be like, okay, you're feeling good, and someone would just walk by and say some like just mean shit, or just, and it's just, I'm not blaming anyone. That's how tour is. Tour is, everything is heightened and things are just annoying, and I can be super annoying.
6 roommates on a bus,
Yeah, exactly. And that's how it is, and it's fine, but it was like nonstop for like 3 weeks, and I was like, what
that
the
sucks,
fuck?
man.
I mean, it is what it is.
And we also didn't have the new album ready.
Yeah.
So we weren't like learning new things. We were kind of recycling older stuff.
Yeah.
And we were just doing a tour, which for me, and I know it's the same for you, is having like some kind of creativity, doing something new and interesting and exciting is important to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that aspect was missing. It took me longer than usual to start like playing really well.
Yeah.
So I was just like a little frustrated with that, and there was a long time between the last show we played before the tour and then the start of the tour. So it was just a bit of a little bit.
It was weird.
It was weird.
It was definitely a weird time. Yeah. That being said, I kept waiting for the night where it's like, all right, because we literally played every single goddamn night, and I kept waiting for those like Mondays, Tuesdays nights to be like super sparsely, populated shows where it's just like, oh, we're playing for 10 people tonight, and it never happened.
It never happened.
We crushed, like we played for full rooms the entire time. I
tour.
couldn't believe that. I mean, above all else, like that was fantastic, you know.
And you hear, and we would also hear that was not the case for everyone across the board.
Yeah.
Across the board. So I don't know. I'll never be able to understand that. Like seeing ticket counts like, a week out for shows, and then you're like, oh fuck, there's not gonna be, that room is gonna be a quarter full or something, and then you show up and it's like, it looks great. It's like, this is a great room.
I hope that is our experience for this November-December run, because
I hope so too. I know that tomorrow in Boston it looks good. I'm worried about tonight.
I'm worried about tonight. It's a huge room. A higher ground that is half full is not a good time.
Yeah, it's not a good time. But who knows, man? I mean, I've seen certain places have a bigger walk up buy at the door kind of situation. I feel like this might be one of those places.
Let's hope so.
I hope so.
Let's hope so.
But well, I don't know. I'm excited about the shows coming up. I am so happy we're back at the Sinclair.
Yeah.
I love the Sinclair, and I always feel like it's a homecoming, and I was so upset that we played. I'm sorry, Rockport, but we gotta. If I love the Shaolin Lu, I do as a room, and
you had a really good show there last time.
the last year when we played the Shaolin Lu, I was so mad when we got off stage because I had to play with fucking hot rod dowels.
Yeah.
I went downstairs before everyone else to the green room, and I fucking broke the sticks over my knee like Bo Jackson after a strikeout.
Yeah.
And I fucking threw them across the room.
No. You left them because you were there. You went down to you like sprinted to the green room, broke your sticks in a fit of rage, and then we came in like a minute or two later, and the broken sticks were right in front of the door when we walked in. I laughed so fucking hard. You do this thing when you get mad, and I fucking love. No. You do this thing. When you get mad, you make declarations. You're like, I am never playing this fucking place with dowels ever again. Like you're making declarations to like the whole band. Let me tell you something I'm not doing ever again.
Dude,
That's my favorite. I love when you do that.
I did that to the old lead singer of my old band, Love in Stockholm. Like, you know, we're kids, we're in college and we're playing, and like if I felt slighted, I would let them know. And we had, you know, we butted heads. We were both like type A personalities.
Right. Yeah.
And I really like him, and I what the fuck happened? He did something, or he booked something at the last minute, and I couldn't do it, and we got into an argument about it, and then we were on our way to a show, and I was like, I'm not gonna fucking listen to this. This train's leaving. Let's go. And I fucking slammed the door. And he's like, don't slam my door. It's like, it's not yours. You fucking rent. And we got into it. It was, you know, it's not a great way to be. I understand that.
It's probably not the party personality you want to lean into.
My family, it's okay. If they're all listening to this, be like, yeah, well, I'm glad it's not only us.
That's what he does.
Yeah, that's what he does.
I mean, dude, we all got our shit. I
know. It's so silly.
It's so
I try to work on it. That was part of the fall tour stuff. It's just being even keel. I don't know, and just trying to like catch up with myself. You know, I'm really not happy about the amount of playing like that I've been able to do, like practice.
Yeah,
and like
me too.
And just like falling in love with music and playing and discovering new things. Like that's it's a challenge with a young kid and no fucking house and place to put your things and whatever. But like it's something that I really am making a priority, is like discovering stuff and like I just really want to get good again. Really
like me too.
Really grow.
I'm in the same boat. I got a new bass like a little while ago, which I love, and I still like. It's a P bass. It's a PJ, but it has a P bass neck, which the strings are further apart, and I really haven't like. I'm not used to it yet because I haven't just sat down and just played scales and arpeggios on it, you know, over and over and over again. So like this, I go to pull stuff off and I'm like, well, that weren't it, you know? So like, I know how you feel. I know how you feel.
It's the same thing with guitar. Like I'm trying to do more stuff with that. And I go through pockets where like I'll play a bunch of gigs, but I don't like doing the cold call stuff. I don't like sending emails out to try to book these things. And like, you know, I'm playing restaurants and shit. So it's not like, I'm just trying to get good. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to play a lot and like, you know, learn how to be interesting and like, and take a room like that where you're not the priority at all to anyone.
People didn't come there for you.
And also take the people that are there and make them stay and make it interesting and whatever. So that's a challenge, and it's always you know, whatever. But I don't know. It is what it is. But what time is it? What time do we play?
I don't know what time we play. That's the problem.
Is it after 8 right now?
No, it's 7:55.
Oh, I would say that we're probably close. Do you want to maybe text? My phone is over there, but
yeah. Hold, please.
Dude, did you hear that China cymbal? That was fucking hot.
Dude, I almost sent you a picture of the China cymbal.
It's up here.
I almost, they were setting up and I was like, I need to send a picture to Jesse.
So the coolest guy, rest in peace, John Blackwell, who was Prince's drummer before he passed away, and then of course Prince passed away, I think maybe the year after or the same year, something crazy. But he famously has a China cymbal behind him like way up, way up. So he will literally go like this, smash behind him while he is playing, or while he used to play. Incredible.
We are on in 6 minutes.
What?
6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on.
I gotta get dressed.
To be continued.
To be continued.
Maybe we'll do something tonight.
All right. Yeah, we did it.